So, a quick summary of Hinduism. It is one of the world's oldest religions, and it's a complex, diverse, and to this day still evolving tradition that originated in the Indian subcontinent, so that would be South Asia, over 4,000 years ago. So, if not the world's oldest religion, 4,000 years ago, and it's a fusion of spiritual practices, philosophies, as well as cultural traditions, with no single founder or universally accepted scripture. And I quite like this idea of no single founder and how it's evolving. So, over the years, spiritual practices as well as these philosophies have developed quite a bit, now often described as a way of life more than anything else. Hinduism, it emphasizes dharma, which is righteous living with purpose, karma, which is action and consequence. Okay, a few of you may have heard the term what goes around comes around, or this idea of the Lord works in mysterious ways. It's all same. It's karma, same WhatsApp group. And moksha. Okay, I know a few of you pronounce this word as moksha. I've heard moksh, the word moksh, when I was in Varanasi. So can someone please correct me in the comments or give me what you think it is? And this is the liberation from the cycle of birth. Now, in my Buddhism series, I also discussed this quite a bit, this idea of moksha, which is liberation from birth. You stop being reborn, you stop being reincarnated. And ultimately, that is the end goal of Hinduism. Liberation from all suffering, from your pleasures, from your desires, from sadness, from happiness, from it all. So you can solely be free. Absolutely love that. It is a central teaching in Hinduism and then, later Buddhism. So some historical context. So Hinduism's roots, it trace back to the Indus Valley civilization from 2500 to 1500 BCE. So that's before the Common Era. BCE tends to be used more nowadays instead of just BC, which is before Christ. BCE is more universal. And the subsequent Vedic period, which is a bit closer to our time than the Indus Valley civilization. This is 1500 to 500 BCE. Now, the Vedas, composed during this time, formed the foundation of all of Hindu philosophy. Okay, so these are the original and more followed scriptures. Now, over centuries, Hinduism absorbed influences from various cultures and religions. So a very evolved religion and evolved into something more multifaceted. Now, I really like this. Hinduism has been spread far and wide, largely due, unfortunately, to British colonial rule. So in South Africa, the indentured Indians, which was just a glorified form of slavery, in Guyana as well, across the Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago, bits and pieces of Jamaica. In the US, that's more the Indian diaspora that has left India for more economic opportunity. We see it in Malaysia as well, in Fiji. So Hinduism has spread far and wide, also in Mauritius, to name but a few places. So just some core beliefs here in Hinduism. Now, Hinduism has an absolute range of beliefs, but these are the big six. So I would say these are key concepts, and please let me know in the comments if you think I've left anything out. Okay, so firstly, Brahman. This is the ultimate reality or the universal spirit. Or the universal spirit, described as infinite, formless, and eternal. I absolutely love this. So Brahman, being the highest, is infinite. It goes on and on and on and doesn't end. It's everlasting. It's infinite, formless, without taking any specific shape, and just eternal. I really love that. Atman, this is the individual soul or self, and considered identical with Brahman in Advaita. So this is the non-dualistic philosophy. It's Atman. Karma, the principle of cause and effect, where every action influences future outcomes. So, if you do good, hopefully you shall receive good. You will receive good. Okay, some karmic philosophy. Samsara, this is the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that is governed by karma. Moksha, this is liberation from samsara. So ultimately, we want to be liberated within Hinduism, or if you're following Hinduism and practicing it. And this is achieved through self-realization and unity with Brahman. And then Dharma. These are moral and ethical duties. So for those of you that watch that really big YouTuber, Darman, That's where bits and pieces come from it as well. Dharma, just moral and ethical duties. And a lot of his videos are just centered on people not doing the right thing and then people doing the right thing. It's just morals and ethics. Okay, so just good behavior. And this is central to pretty much every religion. And these are ethical duties specific to an individual's position in society, stage of life, as well as personal circumstances. So act morally and ethically regardless of your position in society. So we've got some sacred texts here. So Hinduism's scriptures are vast and categorized into two predominant categories. So Shruti and Smriti. So Shruti, this is heard. These are divinely revealed texts, including the Vedas, so very, very old, thousands of years old. And these are the oldest texts, and they comprise of hymns, rituals, as well as philosophical insights. The Upanishads, these are philosophical treatises exploring the nature of reality, the self, and the ultimate truth. Very, very interesting. I love that. Nature of reality, the self, and ultimate truth. But it is all centered on moral and ethical dilemmas and just choosing the right way, if anything else. Smriti, this is remembered, and these are the human-authored texts, including, so a few of you may have heard of these, the epics, the Mahabharata, and this is included in the Bhagavad Gita, so the holy book. Now, the Ramayana, I know a few of you also pronounce this as Ramayan, and this conveys moral and spiritual teachings through stories. The Puranas, these are mythological texts elaborating on deities, cosmology, and rituals. So essentially, it is more a blend of Hinduism with life, living with nature, using earth elements, and the Dharma Shastras. So these are texts outlining moral and social duties. And it is more centered on what your place in society is. So where you are, what you do for a living, your role to society, this is what is expected of you. Okay, let me just highlight that a bit better, sorry. And those are the two main sacred texts, Shruti and Smriti. Next, we get to deities and worship. So Hinduism is often described as polytheistic. So polytheistic, having many gods. Monotheistic, that would just be one god. So your big three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But can also be seen as monotheistic. So Hinduism, it is often described, it's regarded more as people practicing polytheism, but it can be monotheistic just depending on your interpretation, or pantheistic, just having several forms depending on the interpretation. So it depends how you interpret Hinduism, which sect you form part of. So these are the key deities. So Brahma, which is the creator, the almighty, everlasting, infinite. Vishnu, the preserver, with the word is avatar here, if I were to, use my very English voice. But I've heard the pronunciation of avatar also, like Rama and Krishna. Shiva is the destroyer and transformer. So having two main duties. Devi or Shakti, this is the divine feminine and manifest goddesses like Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Okay, so these are the key deities. And please let me know if I've left out anything anything that should have been on this list, or maybe some other deities that you would have liked to see on this list. But these are the four that the grade 12 religion studies study. And worship, which is puja. This can occur at home or in temples and often involves offerings, prayers, and rituals. In Hinduism, there are a lot of offerings, prayers, and rituals, and devotional practices vary widely, reflecting the pluralistic nature of Hinduism. Okay, and that is about it. Just a reminder, please let me know about any deities that maybe I could put in another video. But yeah, that is about it for this section of grade 12 religion studies. Philosophical schools of Hinduism. So Hindu philosophy is diverse with 6 classical schools, darshanas. So Samkhya, this is a dualistic philosophy distinguishing between matter and spirit. So Prakriti and Purusha. Yoga. Okay, the West has absolutely loved this this part of Hinduism. So it focuses on mental and physical discipline to achieve some level of spiritual insight. Mental discipline, blending some level of meditative practices as well as physical discipline with deep stretches, flexibility, getting to know and becoming a bit more comfortable with your body, which is simply the tool, with the mental aspect being the engine as you guide through life. Nyaya, this is logic and epistemology. Vaisheshika, this is metaphysics, and it focuses on atoms and the nature of the universe. So, like we said, Hinduism is very fluid, so it blends a lot of spiritual practices with a lot of natural elements, and you can see that with some of the oldest texts. It is there in the Vedas. Mimamsa, this is a ritual interpretation of the Vedas. Vedanta, this explores the relationship between self and Brahman, you and the everlasting, with sub-schools like Advaita, this is non-dualism, and this is dualism. Okay, so 6 key philosophical schools in Hinduism. Okay, some key rituals and festivals. So, Hindu rituals mark key life events, samskaras, and seasonal changes, as well as deities' significance. So, major festivals include Diwali. This is the festival of lights. Absolutely love this one. Look, I can't lie to you. I did grow up in a Hindu household, went to Christian schools. My partner is Muslim, so I've had experiences with these 3 religions and the rituals and festivals, and let me tell you, okay, please don't cancel me for saying this or anything like that, but look, when it's Diwali or when it's Christmas or when it's Eid, man, everyone is just in a good mood. It is an amazing time to be alive, really. And I've been fortunate enough to experience all 3, and I got to experience Diwali in India. I was in Jodhpur, the blue city, and man, what an amazing night. Behind me was Mehrangarh Fort. I was on a rooftop and just looking at the city's fireworks. It was really an unbelievable experience in my life. So this is the Festival of Lights, and it celebrates the victory of good over evil. Okay, that amazing story of Ram and Sita. Holi, again, the West, the West just doing Western things. They like to call it Color Fest, which is, to a great level, it's cultural appropriation because there's a complete lack of acknowledgement about where it comes from. So Colorfest is Holi, and this is the spring festival of colors and joy. Everyone's just having a good time, throwing powder at each other. Absolute vibe. Navaratri, this is a 9-night celebration of the goddess Durga. Huge festival, especially in Gujarat in India. Makar Sankranti, this is a harvest festival. Okay, not particularly as big as Diwali, Holi, or Navaratri, but it is noteworthy. And please let me know if I've left out any major ones, such as Pitar Pak or anything like that, but these tend to be the better known ones and the ones that the religion studies kids have to go through. So in terms of modern relevance, so Hinduism has adapted to many modern contexts and it's influenced global spirituality. Okay, so the West has absolutely loved yoga and meditation, and it remains vibrant with over 1 billion followers, primarily in India and Nepal. Those are Hindu majority countries, but also among diasporic communities worldwide, largely due to British colonialism. So as I mentioned a few videos back, South Africa, Fiji, Guyana, Mauritius, these are all Hindu strongholds, largely due to an Indian population there that was forced into indentured labor, which is pretty much just glorified slavery. So I form part of that diaspora as well. Now, in summary, Hinduism is a rich, diverse tradition that offers profound insights into the nature of existence, ethics, as well as spirituality. Now, it's pluralistic, bit of a tongue twister, that one, approach. It accommodates a wide range of beliefs and practices, making it one of the most inclusive and enduring religions in human history. I really like that approach. It is a very inclusive religion because it is constantly evolving, constantly just to adapt to more modern situations as well. It's been influenced by other cultures and traditions, and it's a very enduring religion. Okay, over 4,000 years ago, probably making it the world's oldest religion, or the world's oldest recorded religion. Which, that is about it for Hinduism.